Today I will be talking about who is Jon Snow's real mother. If you have read in the books, you pretty much know without a doubt now, if you've read up to Dance with Dragons. If you have not read the books and you are watching the show, it will be quite some time before you have enough information to piece together who it really is. If you don't, it's also important to note that by telling you who his mother is, it will also reveal something about his father, and a lot of people might not want that spoiled either, since it's not going to be in the TV show for a little while yet. So, if you do not want to know and you want to be surprised by reading it yourself or watching it in the TV show yourself, end the video right now. If you do want to know, here it goes. So before the events of the show and the book, there was like a great civil war called the War of the Usurper or Robert's Rebellion or whatever you want to call it. It's mentioned countless times in the book and the show and all that, so it's not really spoiling that it happened. Before this war takes place, that is in the before time of the long, long ago, there was a joust that Ned Stark's brother and sister go to. Rhaegar Targaryen, who hasn't been introduced yet, goes to it. Sir Barristan Selmy is there competing against Rhaegar Targaryen. And a bunch of other characters are there. But Ned Stark is not there. He was doing something else, I guess. I don't remember what it says. Sorry. But at this joust, Rhaegar Targaryen he's a musician, he's like a warrior, and he's really good looking. So a lot of ladies dig him. He takes out an instrument and starts playing the song. And I think he's singing too. And he's got like a beautiful singing voice, and the song is like beautiful and moving and like all this stuff. Like he's just grade A musician. Now, this song, it does not tell you what the lyrics are. It doesn't tell you what it sounds like outside of it's just really beautiful. It's just stressing that over and over again. He then does his jousting with a bunch of different people. He jousts Sir Barristan Selmy, and Sir Barristan Selmy would have been the winner, but he loses, so Rhaegar Targaryen is the winner of the joust. Whoever wins this joust gets to crown one girl in the audience, the Queen of Love and Beauty, by giving them like this little crown of flowers. Now, what would normally happen is you would give it to your wife or someone you were betrothed to, whatever, just the person you were supposed to marry or have already married. But he doesn't give it to his wife, Aaliyah of Dorne, who's there with him. He gives it to Lyanna Stark, who is not his wife. Aaliyah of Dorne is his wife. He just pulled a what the fuck moment on the entire countryside. So everyone in the audience is like, holy shit, did we really just see that? But Lyanna Stark is like really happy and amazed by this and whatever. And she wasn't shocked at all. Now, pretty soon after this, Lyanna Stark is kidnapped. It's important to stop at she was kidnapped, because Lyanna Stark is constantly described as just like Arya. She is what the book calls wolf-blooded, where you're wild and outgoing and you don't want to be a lady. You're just like Arya, except she was a grown-up Arya. And I think the book even says Arya looks a lot like her or something along those lines. So if she is this tough, badass girl who doesn't want to marry Robert Baratheon, who she's betrothed to, because she doesn't want to be married to anyone because she's just wild and outgoing and all this, and Ned Stark even mentions that she, didn't like him like that. It makes so much more sense that she was not kidnapped and just went along with it. Like, just let him take her. And if you really think about it and dig a little deeper, he plays this beautiful song that they don't tell you what the lyrics to it are, to Lyanna Stark. And what if the song was some sort of code that had context just between the two of them? So, meet me outside at midnight was the context. Like, meet me over here. Whatever. So, it's totally like a Romeo and Juliet kind of conspiracy just forms in your head, and you're like, wait a second, why? Let's look into these two for a second. So, you look into them, and another thing pops up that just completely seals the entire thing, proving that Rhaegar is his dad and Lyanna Stark is Jon Snow's mom. Ned Stark had nothing to do with it. And this is the securing thing that makes me think it without a doubt. During Robert's Rebellion, Rhaegar Targaryen has Lyanna Stark in this tower after he kidnapped her. And he has to leave to go fight Robert Baratheon in a battle. So he leaves. He goes to this battle, and he dies. Robert Baratheon kills Rhaegar Targaryen. Rest in peace, dog. We never even got to see what you looked like. Anyway, Lyanna Stark is still in this tower, and Robert Baratheon took a really bad wound from Rhaegar and can't really march forward to where this tower is. So he sends Ned in his place with his army. So Ned leads this army across the countryside, kicks a bunch of asses, makes it to this tower, goes up the stairs into the room, and he finds his sister lying on, keywords here, a bed of blood. It doesn't say that he found her and there was sword wounds in her and arrow wounds in her and like anything, just in a bed of blood. And as some of you might know, if you were ever to have a girl have a baby on a bed, it would be extremely bloody and gross. There would be blood everywhere. So I think she had a baby. And her last words to Ned Stark are, promise me. Might be promise me Ned. I think it's promise me Ned. Anyway, those were her last words. And he told other people that those were her last words and like told her that they found her on a bed of blood, whatever. He told that story to other people, but they didn't pick up on it. Ned Stark returns home from Winterfell when the war's over and all these other events take place, and you know, they finish up all the shit. King's Landing is handing to Robert Baratheon, and Ned Stark goes home. And he comes home with a baby. So we're led to believe that Ned Stark, this guy who is so honorable and he just does everything right, like the best he can. He's just a really cool, down-to-earth person and father, would suddenly, for no reason, cheat on his wife, who he loved very much because he had tons of kids with her. Like, they totally loved each other. So why would he randomly cheat on his wife? Like, why? Don't make sense. Because he didn't cheat on his wife. He brought home Jon Snow, which is his nephew, not his son. Now, all of this means so many things. It means Jon Snow is not a bastard, but a Targaryen and a Stark. It means that when Ned Stark told him that you were a Stark, he wasn't even lying to him. It means that Jon Snow is eligible for the throne because he's not a bastard. And it also means it's completely possible, since Jon Snow is a Targaryen, that he might also be a dragon. The prophecy says that a dragon will come, the next dragon will have 3 heads, because the Targaryen family, like, every now and then a dragon is born, and they're, like, if Daenerys has kids, like, her kids might not be one, but maybe her grandkids will be. It works like that. So, Jon Snow might be the 2nd head of the dragon, or the 3rd head, or whatever. It's also important to mention, though, in, I think, the first book, he throws a lantern and is burned by the lantern when he throws it. I don't really remember if it physically says his skin was burned or if he just felt the heat and was like, and threw it. Okay? If it's the 2nd one, this still might all be a mistake, too. If he gets burned, then he's not a dragon. But he's still, without a doubt, a Targaryen. Okay? But I don't know any part of the book outside when he throws that lantern that he gets burned or is next to fire anyway. So I think that it's completely possible. Maybe when he touched the lantern and felt that it was hot, it was all in his head, because any person, it was raised their entire life fire hot, not fire I am immune to it. He's a Stark, so he would not be running around thinking he was a dragon his entire life, trying to test it and shit. So I think it's really important to mention that possibility that he might also be one of the dragons. Thank you for watching my video.